All right. Yeah, welcome back. So we're gonna focus on something I see most people seems to be struggling with, right? What I'm teaching is ICC because
Okay,
ICC is basically
no
price.
problem. Text me the number and then I save it so I know when they call.
Um, so I'll teach ICC guys, and then but the ICC is typically price action and market structure, right? So, most of the people they are confused in terms of how to mark their chart and how to enter the trades and all those type of things, right? So, this is how I like to start my day, right? This is I'm looking for a trend, right? The time frame I'm gonna use to look for trends, I'm gonna use the 4 hour, right? I'm gonna use the 1 hour, right? I'm gonna use the 15 minute. This is where you find the trend, right? A trend would be, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, right? Something of this nature. That's a trend. It can be on 4 hour, it can be on 50, for 1 hour, it can be on 15 minutes, right? Depending on where I get it, right? And which structure I usually get, right? And then same thing with an uptrend. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and so on and so on, right? So I'm looking for either of these two where the chart gives me either of these two, right? If I don't find it on 4 hour, I go to 1 hour. If I don't find it on 1 hour, I go to 15. If I don't find it, I then move to another pair. You get what I'm saying? So I look for these two. This is the first thing I do. I look for a trend, right? Now, the second thing I do is I look for a market structure shift or a break of structure, right? I look for these two, right? I look for a market structure shift or a break of structure. What do I mean by a market structure shift or a break of structure, right? The minute I find the trend, I look for a market structure shift or a break of structure because why? In ICC, these two are responsible for indication. These two are responsible for indication in ICC, right? Because indication is then that microstructure shift or a break of structure. They're responsible for indication, right? So as you can see, we have a downtrend, right? That's what I see. They say on any of these time frames, right? And then I see price giving me a lower high, instead of giving me a lower low, it then gives me a lower high. It then gives me a higher low. Price then breaks above this lower high to give me a higher high, right? Now, this here is that break of structure. This higher low that was produced, instead of market giving us a lower low, this is what I was looking for. You get what I'm saying? I need to see a break above because the minute the market decides to give you higher low on a downtrend where you expect you're supposed to have lower lows and lower highs, and market gives you a higher low, then that means it's saying it might go up and be bullish. It's not bullish yet. It might go up to be bullish, right? So we have a lower low and a lower high. We have also, yeah, we have a lower low and a lower high, right? So the market then breaks, gives you a higher low, and then gives you a higher high, right? But also, the market can also not give you a higher low. Understand that also the market can also not give you a higher low. It can still give you a lower low and then break the lower highs and give you a higher high. But I'm looking for that nice clean break where the structure breaks. You know what I'm saying? So now this becomes my indication that price above this level would be bullish, right? So because I use any of these time frames, I would expect price to come back down to correct, and price will correct using lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. lower lows, lower highs, Preferably, I would prefer it correct into these lower highs without breaking the higher low, right? And then lower low, lower high, and then probably equal lows, and then higher high. Get what I'm saying? Higher low, break above also with the higher high and higher low, and then here it is, right? So it will look something of this nature, right? But also understand that the same thing that happened on this bigger time frame, this indication, the smaller time frames, they also do it. It also happens on the smaller time frames. You know what I'm saying? So now this is also another microstructure shift, another bigger structure. Price give me an indication that it can also go up on a small time frame. Also, I expect it to give me the higher lows because it gave me the higher highs, right? Higher lows, higher lows, higher highs, right? So, and the higher high above where the indication came off, where the break of structure came out of. You get what I'm saying, right? So, where that indication, we had the previous indication, once price breaks above that level on a smaller time frame, if you got this trend is coming from a 4 hour, 1 hour, usually this will happen in 15 minutes. But if this trend, the overall trend you got is from a 15 minute, this will usually happen on 5 minute or 1 minute chart. So it's the same thing over and over and over again, right? But I want to see a nice clean break above this level where price indicated that price would be bullish about the price. And I also want to see a nice clear structure where price was showing me that now price is in correlation with the indication, where the indication, because the indication says higher high, and price gave it should have came to give us a higher low, which then it did give us a higher low, right? This was the higher low that we were looking for, right? But then price started to, on a small time frame, price started to give us those higher highs, higher lows, higher highs above this level. I want to see a higher high above this level, and price giving me a higher low to show that price is still bullish and it might even continue to go to the upside. Now, any break above this level, I'm willing to take, and I aim for 1:3. That's my preference. I won't tell you aim for the next swing point. I will tell you aim for 1:3 because 1:3 on $100,000 account, that's you risking $1,000 to make $3,000 on a $1,000 profit from account. You get what I'm saying? So if you're risking on a $10,000 account, you're risking $100 to make 300. And if you have a trading plan of trading about only taking 3 trades per day of 1:3s, you lose two, you win one, you up $100. You win two, you lose one, you up $500. You get what I'm saying? You're still profitable at the end of the day. If you lose three, I mean, that's still fine. You get what I'm saying? Tomorrow is still another day. So this is how I take that buy position. That's how I would feel comfortable taking that position to the upside, right? I look for that market structure shift. Same thing even on the uptrend. I will look for, let's say we have an uptrend, right? Then price decides to break below, give me an indication, right? I expect price to correct back to give me a lower high, right? I expect to price to do that because we've been having higher lows and higher highs, right? Higher lows and then higher highs, right? So as you can see, price then decided to break a higher low, a swing low, right? Price then give me an indication below this level that price can actually sell below this level. And then price obviously giving me a lower low below this level, right? I expect price to correct back to the upside. And the trend that would price will correct it will be an uptrend. You know what I'm saying? So I will look for that, I will obviously there will be an uptrend up to here, and then that market structure shift of also lower lows and lower highs and break below that level of support that we have here with a lower low and a lower high, I can be able to capitalize off of that also. Same thing. I can be able to capitalize off of that and mark the lower low that was made. And all I need to wait for is for the market to give me a lower high. Once the market gives me a lower high, I can be able to have my sell stop waiting at that entry level there, right? So about that, let me just, yeah. I can have myself stop waiting here, right? It's the same thing. all over and all over. The market will do it even on smaller time frames, right? The trend that you're looking for based on how you like to trade. If you like to swing, hold, hold your entries for like a day, 2, 3 days, just focus on 4 hour and 1 hour, bro. But if you wanna catch this kind of moves every day where you can get into the market no matter the session, but it doesn't matter the session because price action will still be price action and market structure will still be market structure, right? So this is what happens every single time, even on smaller time frames. So if you find a trend on 15 minutes, the one that you will use for entries, you will use 5 minutes or 1 minute. So 4 hours, you obviously have to go down to 1 hour and 15 minutes for entries. 1 hour still, you have to go to 15 minutes or 5 minutes for entries, but it's still more or less the same thing. But if you solely focus on 15 minutes in terms of looking for a trend, just use 1 hour first before you jump onto the 15-minute trend. Just understand where you are on the 1 hour. Are you in an indication? Are you in the correction? Are you in the continuation? Just understand where you are before you ride the wave. You get what I'm saying? And I can still also take those positions even with the trend going the same direction, right? It's still giving me indications. Price is still giving me indications, right? Indication, the price goes incorrect. Any market structure shift where because price when it goes correct here, it will correct with higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, lower low, lower high. I enter based on the lower low that's created. Once price, you know, I get a lower high, then I will have myself stop waiting there on a 1:3. When price comes back, obviously, if a price is gonna give you lower low and lower highs, that means it's supposed to go to the downside, right? Now it becomes a full reversal to the uptrend that was happening. Now I can be able to ride off of that and aim for 1:3. Same thing also, if I'm joining the buys, same thing. Indication to the upside, right? Price has to correct back. It will use a downtrend to correct, right? Lower low, lower high, 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 higher high, higher low, higher high above price. You get what I'm saying? And then higher low. I use the higher high that was given as my entry level. I wait for price to give me higher low, and then I have my buy stop waiting for me to be able to take that entry to the downside, to the upside actually, to be able to take that entry to the upside. And also, same thing, 1:3, stop loss just beneath the higher lows, and then my 1:3, boom, 1:3. Same thing here also, right? Sell stop waiting for price, stop loss just above the lower highs, or 1:3, boom, to the downside. You get what I'm saying? This is just market structure. It repeats itself continuously. As long as you can find a trend within these, as long as you can find a trend within these, then because 15 minutes, if you find a trend in 15 minutes, and that means you're scalping, but start with on 1 hour first, just to understand where you are in terms of ICC, right? Then obviously you'll move to 5 minutes and 1 minute to get those nice clean entries, right? And those market structure shifts because if 15 minutes is the trend, then the corrections and all those kind of things, the continuations will happen on 5 minutes or 1 minute. You get what I'm saying? So when you're on a 4 hour, you definitely go from 4 hour to 1 hour to 15 minutes for entries. You get what I'm saying? If you're on a 1 hour, you go to probably to 30 minutes and then 15 minutes also for entries, right? This is what you go for. But these and their stop losses, they differ in terms of stop losses. But as long as you can know how to manage your risk in terms of risk to reward ratio, if you're risking $100, whether you're risking it on a 15-minute time frame or you're risking it on a 5 minute or 1 minute, it's still going to be the same, still going to count as the same money that you're willing to risk. But the amount of movement is not going to be the same. Again, I'm saying on 1 minute, this would be this, but on if you're trading this on a 15 minute, then that would be way, way higher than the last part. Get what I'm saying? All right. So I'm just gonna delete everything. Just let's look for a quick one that we can look to trade to see if we can get some right. So we get to the market, we see, okay, price gave me an indication about this level here, right? Obviously, what price giving you an indication about this higher high, price gave you an indication to the upside, right? With that indication to the upside, you expect price to come and correct without breaking the higher lows, right? And then we can take these as the higher lows, actually. We can take these as the higher lows, right? We can take these as the higher lows. Now you move on to 15 minutes, right? Like, okay, let's see what 15 minutes has for us, right? We see that it was the indication where the indication happened, right? Now price came back to correct, but I would have took this, but there's not much to give you an example out of because I can see it. For you to see it, it will be a different thing, right? Now, as you can see, when we get to 5 minutes, now it's a total different story. Price was giving you higher highs and higher lows once it was giving an indication. Now immediately price after giving you this higher low, it gave you a lower high. Now a lower low, lower high. That was a market structure shift showing prices started to correct. The middle price gave you a lower low and made a lower high, but it didn't go create another lower low. Instead, it might have, but this, yeah, it then broke above this, breaking this lower high. Now that's another market structure shift. And then price broke above the level where the indication came out of, right? Now, with that indication, now that's where you can say, okay, I have price giving me this high. I can mark off this high here, right? I need price to go down and give me what a higher low. So I can see that price is now starting to be bullish to the upside. Now I can enter my trade here, my stop loss just underneath here. You get what I'm saying? But then this would have been in the 15 minute if you were trading from a 1 hour perspective. You get what I'm saying? So break above, higher low, right? This higher low ended somewhere here. You get what I'm saying? So now here's your entry, higher low, right? 1:3. There it is. Boom. The market hits a 1:3. This is from a trend on 1 hour. The trend came from 1 hour. 15 minutes, you use it as an entry. You get what I'm saying? Right. Now we're gonna move down to 15 minutes. Now we're gonna focus on 15 minutes, right? Now we're looking for a trend on 15 minutes. Right. You're like, okay, we had this lower high here, price give us a higher low, right? Now price is saying price might be bullish, right? Now price breaks above that, breaks this higher low that we had here, right? Price breaks this higher low, gives you an indication to the upside that price might be bullish. Now you expect price to come back and correct, right? Now you can move down to 5 minutes. Like you want to see that nice structure, right? Higher highs, probably, and then lower lows, price is correcting back up, Then with this last lower high that was created, price broke above that lower high, get what I'm saying? Giving you a high high. But this structure would have appeared much nicer on a 1 minute. As you can see, on a 1 minute, what did the chart do? The chart broke above these lower highs. Price breaking to the upside, give you a higher high and a higher low. Now is above a price where price has shown you that price is bullish, right? You can mark off that high high that price gave you while it's making that higher low. You're like, okay, I'm waiting for price to come back to this level. I'll have my buy stop waiting at this area. My stop loss would be this much, right? My stop loss would be this much, right? I think that was about 7 points, right? Compared to the first one on 1 hour, that was about like 15 points, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? My my risk to reward 1:3, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see for yourself, there you have it. On 5 minutes, this is how it would have looked. There you have it. You see, higher high, higher low on 5 minutes, as you can see. Higher low, this made a higher low. Then the next candle of 5 minutes, then opened your entry to the upside. And there it was. Your TP hit 1:3. You get what I'm saying? It's as simple because it's the same thing. It repeats itself every single time. It repeats itself. No matter like just for trends, look for 1 hour, 4 hour, and then 15 minutes. That's where you can find the trends. But if you're scalping, focus on 15 minutes. Just start on 1 hour just to understand where you are overall. Are you in an indication? Are you in the, you get what I'm saying? Those kind of things. So you know you don't become part of a trap, or maybe also check out for news. You don't become part, of you don't become you don't fall victim for news events or those kind of things. Get what I'm saying? But the child will always do that, bro. Like every single time. The child will always do that every single time. Next example before this thing closes, right? Um, let's look at, let's see what we can find here, right? Same thing also here, as you can see, right? What did price do also? Right. So what did price do? Price started to also break some of the higher highs, right? Price broke this higher high. We had a higher low here, right? Price broke above there, gave us an indication to the upside. You get what I'm saying? Price gave us an indication to the upside. We expect price to come back and correct. And price did come back and correct and create what? A higher low, right? Price gave us a higher low, right? This is on 15 minutes. Now we go down to 5 minutes, right? We have an indication price was corrected, but in this correction, we don't see a trend on 5 minutes. And now let's go to 1 minute. We need to see a trend. We need to see structure, right? But this was obviously we had this lower low, lower high, and then lower low, and lower high. Price didn't come back down, right? And then price started to move to the upside. Now you want to see higher high and higher low, right? With that being done, where price gave you a higher high around this area, you're like, okay, I'm waiting for price to go back, give me a higher low, right? Because this is 1 minute, so the structure is not the same as on 5 minutes. You see, on 5 minutes, price gave you a higher high and higher low, right? On 5 minutes. So your entry, in terms of your entry would have been here, five, stop loss just beneath the higher low, 1:3. This would have been this trade that you are in, right? You would have been like taking this entry right now. So this would have been how it is moving to the upside, right? Now, with also how to move your stop loss to entry point. Price, once it gives you another higher high and higher low, and it breaks above the structure, you can mark off the structure, say, okay, I need to see price respecting the structure and move it to the upside. Now you can move your entry point to, I mean, your stop loss to entry point to break even. You can move it to break even. Now also you can mark off this one here. You want to see price break above this one also. So you can probably secure something, probably, I think, a 1:1. Yeah, probably a 1:1 before any that 1:3 hits. But this is how you can trade stop and all those kind of things that are happening. So when you go to 1 minute, this is how it will look on 1 minute. You can see the structure: higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. This should create the higher low. But the moment it breaks below this, then that's a mega structure shift. Then it should be a way to, like, okay, let me just move my stop loss to entry point, see what price will do. But now price should be able to give us a higher low because price is bullish. It also gives us an indication on 1 minute. So price is correcting back. It should be able to continue to the upside, same way it has been doing, giving us an indication, correcting back to the previous higher high, and then moving to the upside. It repeats itself. It's a repetition, guys. All right. Yeah, just a quick announcement, guys. Be careful out there. There's people who are pretending to be me. They're trying to scam people. Also in terms of, they pretending to be me on the Discord. They got my Telegram taken down, so I don't have a Telegram anymore. So if you see anybody on Telegram trying to be me, that's not me. Please, that's not me, guys. Don't fall victim to any of that. And I think one last thing is the Hustle University. We left with only 2 spots left, so we can be able to do these kind of things one-on-one, give you those kind of lessons one-on-one, lifetime access for only $99 or $100. Yeah, if you add the dollar. But that's it. I'm not selling a course. I'm selling a mentorship. I'm selling, that kind of support system. We're gonna be there. Live trading is also part of the thing that we do. Market analysis, we also part of the things we do. Live market analysis in London and New York, we analyze. We can take, while I'm busy doing something like this, we can be able to even take trades while I'm we doing those kind of sessions, and then we see an opportunity, we capitalize, we get, that's how we do it, right? So, like I was saying, there's only about, I think, like, yeah, two spots left. Let me see. Yeah, let's see the free community. Yeah, as I was saying, guys, be careful. This guy is not me. This guy offenser. I'm not offense. I'm offensive. You get what I'm saying? This is not me sending people. So be careful. So I've changed my handle name because it was offensive. So he then used offenser. So I changed my handle name to the Hustle FX, the only one, guys. So don't, even if someone was to add a one after or whatever, that's still not me. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, we left with only two spots in the Hustle University. The Hustle University we always have those, those sessions and all those kind of things. You get what I'm saying? Like we always have those kind of analysis if you need help. Like there's a lot, guys. There's a lot that we do. Sorry about that. There's a lot that we do. Yeah, there's a lot, guys. Trading wise, setups, everything. Get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we do that. There's also one-on-ones that we do. Yeah, pretty much, guys. All right. Thank you very much for attending. Please, be careful out there, guys. Yeah, if you wanna, I'll leave the Discord link below. So for those in YouTube, if you wanna join, then you can join there. Yeah, for those who are already on the Discord, if you want to be part of the Hustle community, the Hustle University, only two spots left. After that, we're closing the Hustle University. I don't know when we're gonna open it, but I need everybody to be sorted first. The first 20 people to be sorted, and before we can add the next batch, because once they can capture on and then move on to the next. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Mkicheza tumekula kwa class, alafu kama anacheza nikaandikiwa nikafanya